Day, everyone. So, I wanted to talk about quarantine and the mental health impact on quarantining, especially as we're looking at the states, some of the states lifting restrictions, and we're starting to move forward and figuring out, okay, now what do we do? So, when this first came out and the list of restrictions came into place, I see everything through the lens of a mental health practitioner. So, my first thought was, ooh, this is going to be a tough one for people because isolation leads to depression. Cutting yourself off from other relationships, even though you're on a video screen, but you're not physically present with them, that has an impact on our mental health. And when your mental health is impacted, then your immune system is impacted. And we want to have a strong immune system while we're fighting any kind of potential virus out there, but especially now. So, mental health is definitely an important factor, something that often gets neglected, and I really want to bring that to the discussion table now as we're looking at, what do we do now? So, my first suggestion would be acknowledge that something significant has happened. I mean, we've all lost something, we're all grieving something. It could be a loss of freedom, it could be a loss of a family member, a loved one, it could be a loss of a job, loss of a business, loss of security. There's a lot of losses that we're dealing with, and we're all going to respond differently. We're all going to grieve differently. So how I grieve is going to be different than how my husband grieves. It's going to be different than how my daughter grieves, and accepting those differences in each other. But I think it's really important to understand what is it that has happened to us, and really acknowledging that it does have an impact on us. And we might be feeling depressed. We might be feeling irritable. We might be feeling more anxious than we typically do, and that's okay. That's a natural response to what has happened to us. So it's a normal expectation to have that. Um, so some of the other things that we need to acknowledge that's been going on is because we're all locked in our houses 24/7 with each other, the family dynamics that are going on are intensified right now. When couples reach retirement age and they're staying at home, they find it's quite a shock for them. It's like, whoa, I'm with this person 24/7. There are parts of them I don't like. I don't have the freedom that I had. There's quite an adjustment that needs to be made, and this one was forced upon us. We didn't, one day we're like, oh, we're out doing whatever, and the next day they're like, stay home. We're with each other 24/7. So if we had conflict, that was kind of underlying with certain family members, likely it intensified while we've been locked up. We probably had a lot more arguments going on, a lot more discord going on. Everything is intensified right now, and just understanding that happens when you're locked in with each other, when you don't have your normal avenues of escape. Not, I hate to use the word escape, but you get out and you get to do other things that feed into you. When you don't have that, you've removed those coping mechanisms that you normally do, and then you're just constantly face to face with each other, dealing with conflict or whatever else is going on. So just acknowledging that that's a normal thing. That's, you guys might be on edge now. That's just a typical thing that happens when you're placed in a situation like this. Another thing to acknowledge is a lot of people are facing fears that they didn't face before. You can't go to the grocery store without there being an announcement about the virus and how you can protect yourself from the virus. It's like you can't escape from it. You turn on the radio, they're talking about it. You turn on the TV, they're talking about it. I mean, look at me, I'm talking about it. It just is everywhere. So it's just intensifying this hyper awareness and this protective stance for your body and for your mind. And it just adds to agitation, adds to fears, and we're constantly thinking about death because we're told about it every single day. Here are how many people died yesterday and how many people died nationwide and worldwide. We don't normally think about death until a friend or a family member dies, and then we reflect on it, and then we move on from it because you don't want to be thinking about death every day of your life. So here we are faced with that as well. So that's just kind of a summary of the reality of where we're at. So what can we do to help our mental health right now? Well, no matter where your restrictions are, everyone's on a different level of restrictions right now. And my recommendations are, one, follow the recommendations of your area, follow the recommendations of your doctor based on your level of health. The recommendations I'm going to give keep that in mind. That I'm not saying to supersede any of those, especially since we're all at different levels right now. But physical presence with people is huge. It just feeds into you, it feeds the soul. If you can't have, if you guys are restricted in a certain way, I've seen a lot of people, they've set up at the end of their driveway, they've had lawn chairs, and we've even done this, that we keep our physical distance of what's recommended, but we have that interaction in the presence of somebody instead of on a screen. I'm sure you guys have figured out it's just not the same when you're looking at someone on the screen or talking with them on the phone versus if they're in front of you. So setting up something like that has been helpful for a lot of people and really given them that point of contact with others while keeping and respecting the distancing. Some people have been able to transition to their patio because they've had different restrictions lifted. One of the things that I've done that has I've found to be hugely helpful is when I'm shopping, when I go grocery shopping, I try and connect up with a friend. When are you going shopping? You want to hit up the store at the same time because we're already there among other people. So if I'm going to be exposed to all these strangers, why not have a friend and be able to catch up with a friend and have the conversations that we would normally have, and then just have that point of physical connection. I mean, it's just amazing when you have that in front of someone. Okay, so physical presence. The other thing is getting outdoors. I know a lot of people, unfortunately, have been cooped up, some because they were forced to, others that's just become a choice of theirs. Get outside, get some fresh air, get some vitamin D from the sun. Vitamin D is a natural antidepressant. It helps build the immune system, fighting respiratory infections. It is so important to get vitamin D. And if you can get it naturally by doing sunlight, that would be the best thing. So if you're allowed in your area to be able to go outside and walk around without a mask, to be able to get the fresh air, do that. It'll do your body so much good. And when your body's in a stronger, physical presence, then your mental health will improve as well. All right, so ways that you can try and get some physical connectedness, get outdoors, and then let's talk about the fears and everything that's going on. I'm just going to put it out there. Turn off the media. Their goal is not to help you. Their goal is to get more viewers, and the more dramatic they are, the more viewers they get. So it's just not healthy to have the constant drumming of all of the things that are going wrong in the world coming in and bombarding you. Turn it off. Turn it off and just take a deep breath and just set that stuff aside. You can get all the facts you need from whitehouse.gov, from their task force, from your governor state page, your state health department page, from the CDC page. All of the facts you need are there if you ever want to look them up, but you don't need them 24/7. You don't need it to be the first thought you have the minute you get up in the morning to the last thought you have before you go to bed. You need to take a break from that. So you want to see anxiety levels drop and stress levels drop, turn off the media. Be a big, big, big thing that you can do. And then another thing I wanted to recommend is anytime I have a challenging time, a time of turmoil or hardship, I try to be reflective, self-reflective, and go, what can I learn about myself in this experience? What can I change? What can I learn about how I relate to other people in this experience? Looking back at these 6 weeks that I've been locked in, what will I change? What have I learned about myself, and what can I use as a growth experience so that this doesn't feel like it was 6 weeks of a waste of time, because it wasn't. I mean, there's things that we've all learned about ourselves, things that we're going to be doing differently in the future. So that kind of gives you a sense of control again, and taking charge, and makes you feel like that you can direct what's getting ready to happen. See, and this really is about you being able to direct what happens next. What are you in control of right now? You're in control of, am I comfortable enough going out to the store? And will I do that? When I do that, who will I do it with? Those are decisions you get to make. Yes, the government is mandating, when those dates get released, but you get to decide for yourself how you're going to do that and how that's going to look. So I hope you guys can take this, reflect on it, and take a piece to work with. But really be thinking about mental health right now. I know it's all been about physical health and protecting against a virus, but we really need to be refueling ourselves and reducing the fears. Reducing the exposure to all of the fear-based things going on, and just really focusing on how can we work on improving mental health right now. And so that's going to be my focus for a little while. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.